Make Comrade Show wait. Comrade Lante Oriente. Live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. Make Comrade Show wait.
Wow, for this life, oh, na so palava. I tire for this problem, I tire for life, oh. Guinea, no work, no food, no house, no life. This small water, then they bring na so dirty, they pull am. This small money, I they get na so transport, they chop am. School low, na headache, hospital, no work. I tire for life, oh. My brother, waiting you they think, oh. My sister, help don't come. SDP, MKO, Kidibe, action. MKO, Kidibe, SDP, progress. Abiola na the hope, SDP na the party to solve our problem and better our life, oh. MKO, 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 action. Abiola, 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 progress. Now he be the hope for better tomorrow. Now wow.
Today's June 12, 2015 will make it exactly 22 years since Nigerians participated in what has remained arguably the nation's freest and fairest presidential elections. After fiercely contested primaries held in Jos, Plateau State by the SDP, a renowned multi-millionaire businessman, Chief Moshood Kashimawo Abiola, better known as MKO, emerged as the party's presidential flag bearer. His opponent was a little-known Kano businessman, Alhaji Bashir Tofa, who flew the flag for the NRC. Abiola took what was then considered a political risk. He picked Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, a fellow Muslim, as his running mate. Several events followed in quick succession. The country witnessed the most robust election campaigns and mobilization of the electorate to participate in the process.
For this life, oh, na so palava. I tire for this problem, I tire for life, oh. Guinea, no work, no food, no house, no life. This small water, then they bring na so dirty, they pull am. This small money, I they get na so transport, they chop am. School low, na headache, hospital, no work. I tire for life, oh. My brother, waiting you they think, oh. My sister, help don't come. SDP, MKO, Kidibe, action. MKO, Kidibe, SDP, progress. Abiola na the hope, SDP na the party to solve our problem and better our life, oh. MKO, 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 action. Abiola, 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 progress. Now he be the hope for better tomorrow.
Professor Humphrey Nwosu, the chairman of the Electoral Commission, and his team set June 12, 1993 as the date for the presidential elections. They had no idea they were setting up a date for a sad history. The leadership of the Armed Forces Ruling Council included Babangida, the President, Vice President Augustus Aikomu, and the Chief of Army Staff General Sani Abacha. For the first time in the nation's checkered history, Nigerians who had a reputation for clinging to their ethnic and religious identities in previous elections set aside their differences to vote massively for the MKO Kingibe ticket. Abiola beat Tofa in his electoral ward to prove his level of acceptability across the nation. No sooner had the NEC began a state-by-state announcement of the election result, behold, the worst happened. The military head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, announced the annulment of the elections. In a speech on June 26, 1993, he cited electoral malpractices such as rigging and vote buying as reasons for his actions.
It is true that the presidential election was generally seen to be free, fair and peaceful. However, there was in fact a huge array of electoral practices virtually in all the states of the Federation before the actual voting began.
The world was stunned. Nigerians were enraged. This set the stage for the forced exit of Ibrahim Babangida, the self-styled evil genius. Street protests and organized civil disobedience became a daily routine. Babangida eventually, due to both national and international pressure, stepped aside on August 26, 1993 and set up the Chief Ernest Shonekan-led interim national government with a mandate to run government and organize fresh elections. The protests continued. ABACHA, who was left behind to stabilize Shonekan's administration, shoved it aside on November 17, 1993 and took over the reins of government. The struggle for the actualization of the people's mandate continued unabated. Scores of Nigerians were killed as the military cracked down on protesters. Many went in exile, and more were jailed for daring to stand up to the military. The presumed winner of the elections, Chief MKO Abiola, erroneously believing that General Sani Abacha would do the right thing by restoring his mandate, encouraged some of his lieutenants to participate in the Abacha administration. Little did he know Abacha had ambitious plans of his own. When it became obvious that Abacha was as unwilling to honor the people's will, Abiola took his destiny into his own hands and stepped forward to claim his mandate. On June 11, 1994, Abiola declared a government of national unity at Ekpedeto in Lagos in a speech titled "Enough is Enough." Abiola had famously declared, "I cannot surrender my mandate unless the people so demand, and it is by virtue of this mandate that I say that the decision of the federal military government to cancel the result of the elections is unpatriotic and capable of causing undue and unnecessary confusion in the country." This bold and dogged move led to his arrest and a tragic death after drinking what many have called a deadly cup of tea.
Lante Oriente, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and
Good day, sir. We've been all out today. What have you to say about the massive solidarity support that you have received today from the people? I reckon you must have gotten a feedback about how people have gone all over town saying it's you or nobody else.
Well, it is very gratifying. I've always known that the events of the last few weeks have, in fact, enabled people to make up their mind a lot more firmly. In fact, it has increased tremendously the public support that I have in the country. Nigerians are ready for democracy. Nigeria have elected their president, and Nigerians are not prepared to go for another election. The truth of the matter is that you do not have two sunrises in one day. Even in Africa, the sun rises only once a day, and that is the way it is. The people have made it very clear that that is what they want, and I'm sure the purpose is to let government know that the people are very serious in what they are saying.
Do you have any fears that some members of the SDP might give in to the new political arrangement that is being proposed?
There's nothing like that. See, given to what? What would they give in to? There's nothing to give in to. The election was pronounced fair, free, fair, and peaceful by the international observers and by the government-owned observers themselves. So, what is there to give in to? As a matter of fact, they do not see any reason to prolong the democratic process anymore. And the SDP as a party is very clear. The executive committee made it very clear last week. The meeting in Benin too has made it very, very clear, even doubly clear, that there's no question of the party going back. To go back is to tell the Nigerian people that we are not a serious party. We are a very serious party. There are, we understand, a few officers who are not happy about the result of the election. But a few officers cannot be more important than the generality of Nigerian people. 14 million Nigerian people voted in the last election, more than voted at the National Assembly election. And as a proportion, probably more than have voted in the United States election, presidential election. So that in itself is a massive mandate. And I have 58.9% of the votes. I won in 20 states, and I won the 1/3 of the votes in 28 out of 30 states, and at the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja. There's nothing else.
Do you think the president will backpedal?
Well, it's not a matter of backpedaling. It's a matter of a misunderstanding. He was not accurately informed. For example, there were talks about bribes there were allegations of bribery to NEC. I've already said anybody with proof of that allegation should go to court. Bribery of an electoral officer, of a public officer, is an offense, is really a felony under the law of Nigeria. The matter should be taken to a criminal court. And secondly, there were allegations that the turnout was low. That has been debunked. There were more voters during the presidential election than during the National Assembly elections. So that is not true either. There were allegations that the judiciary is being put into jeopardy or into ridicule. We were able to prove that neither of the two candidates went before any court. It was an illegal organization supposedly being sponsored by the government itself that took matters to court. That has nothing to do with us. There were allegations that large sums of money were spent, 2.1 billion naira. That was not true. I've denied it. The other candidate has denied it. In any case, there is no upper limit to the expenditure that can be incurred by any candidate in the presidential election or in any election under the law of Nigeria. All these are just trumped up charges, excuses as it were, not reasons.
What message do you have, as the last question, to your teeming supporters across the country?
That there is plenty of hope, that there's no doubt at all that the president and the military government will leave office on the 27th of August. And there might be need to meet and discuss some details. And I'm always ready and willing to discuss details. This is not a civilian versus military situation. A preponderant majority of the Nigerian military and their family voted overwhelmingly for me in the last election. So there was no question of the military. There are quite a few, just a few officers who probably are unhappy about the changes. We will give them all the assurances they need. There is room for every Nigerian, especially the top officers who have been trained at tremendous cost to the taxpayers of Nigeria. The list of people which people have alleged have been prepared by me for dismissal or retirement is not true. I have no such list. We need all the soldiers we have in the Nigerian army, especially the senior ones who have been trained at considerable cost to the taxpayers of our country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Comrade Show, wait. Comrade Lante Oriente. Comrade Show, wait. Comrade.
Major Aleo.
Yes, my lord.
You have affirmed to speak the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do, my lord.
Yes. Now, you took over the affairs of Chief Abiola, the custody. When?
My lord, there are technicalities here.
Beg your pardon?
There are technicalities here.
Yep.
Technically, handing over a post with the dead the handing over note is signed.
Yes.
Major Mustafa gave me his handing over note on 4th July.
First.
4th July, yeah.
Yes.
Now, if we follow the technicalities, that means I took over 4th July. But then, he was already withdrawing from the work of the CSO.
Yeah.
And I can't afford to see my boss being left like that. Somebody had to take charge. So I took charge and started preparing the ground before the official handing over.
Yes. Do you know when General ABACHA died?
Yes, my lord.
On the 8th of June. Between the 8th of June and the 4th of July, 1998, who was in charge of the custody of the late Chief M.K. Abiola? Effectively.
Effectively,
Yes.
it could be Mustafa.
Should be.
It should be Mustafa.
But who was? Ordinarily, it should be Mustafa. But who was in charge?
I was.
Yes. So you took over the management or the custody of Chief Abiola on the 8th of June, 1998. Is that correct?
Yes, my lord.
Yes. For a month, you were in charge of Chief Abiola's affairs.
Yes, my lord.
Who were his doctors at this material time? Who were the doctors treating Chief Abiola, to your knowledge?
Those details were not handed over to me.
Yeah.
And when I was with Chief Abiola, the only thing he told me was he fell down and his leg is swollen.
Yes.
And that he has been complaining for them to bring a doctor to come and see him. So I said, Chief, why don't we bring a doctor to come and see Dr. Refalomo?
From Lagos.
From Lagos. He said, young man, that's good. I would like that. I said, okay, we'll make that arrangement. And we are making the process of that arrangement. That was why his family came to see him. You were supposed to see him next after his family.
Major.
Yes, my
For
lord.
1 month, you could not get his doctor from Lagos to visit him? For 1 month.
Depending on when he told me he was sick.
When did he tell you he was sick?
He told me about towards the end of June or middle June.
Yeah. So he told you towards the end of June or middle June.
Yes.
Can you be specific? That's about 15 days interval.
Something like that.
About middle of June.
Yeah.
And you could not arrange that. Is that correct?
He told me it's nothing serious. He showed me his leg that is swollen, that he fell down. And
Now-
he has been falling down with that swollen leg for the past how many months?
Yeah. According to the Americans with whom you visited Chief Abiola,
Yes, my lord.
he showed the delegation his still swollen ankle. As at the 7th of July,
Yes, my lord.
his ankle was swollen.
Yes, my
And
lord.
when you took over June 8th, he also showed you his swollen ankle. Is that correct?
He did not show me on June 8th.
When did he tell you? 15th?
I told you, I can't remember exactly, towards the end of the month.
I just want us to confine ourselves to what you can remember. Did he tell you he had hypertension?
He did not tell me.
Okay. Now, do you know that as soon as General ABDULSALAMI took over, he released all political prisoners, including convicted coup plotters? Are you aware of this?
I'm aware, my lord.
Are you aware that Chief M.K. Abiola was the only detainee that was left in detention in that category? Are you aware?
I wouldn't be aware. I don't know. Because I don't know the number of politicians that were in custody.
Okay. Now let's come to what you know.
Yes, my lord.
You did say that Dr. Refalomo never requested to visit Abiola.
Not to me.
Yes. Well, you were in charge of the security of the head of state.
Yes, my
Do
lord.
you have anything to do with doctors visiting detainees? That part of your functions?
No.
Of course. Now, the delegation that visited Chief Abiola on the 7th of July,
Yes, my
as
lord.
the American delegation,
Yes, my
led
lord.
by Under-Secretary Thomas Pickering. Are you aware?
Yes, my lord.
Now, on the 7th of July, 1998,
Yes, my lord.
you requested that delegation to address a press conference in Abuja to announce the death of Chief Abiola. Is that
No,
correct?
no, my lord, it's not
You-
correct.
Did the government, to your knowledge, request the delegation
No, my
to do
lord.
that?
No, my lord.
What specific request, other than telling the family, was there any other request made on that delegation?
Not to my knowledge.
Why was it impossible for the government to break the news to the family? Why did you have to recruit the foreigners to do it?
The government break the news to the family.
Very good. So you didn't request the delegation to do anything for you?
No.
Very good. Now, between you and Susan Rice, there was an argument over who would break the news to the family. Is that correct?
No, my lord, it's not correct.
Not correct?
Yes, my lord, it's not correct.
But in your evidence in chief, you did say that Susan Rice offered.
But there was no argument.
There was no argument. But Susan Rice offered to break the news to the family. Is that correct?
It was being the only lady there. And
very good. Very good. Now, after breaking the news to the family,
which the CNC did himself?
Yes. The American delegation addressed a press conference in Abuja, to your knowledge. Is that correct?
Yes, my lord.
Mr. Thomas Pickering said in the text of the press conference that Abiola died of natural causes. Are you aware?
Yes, my lord.
The president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces at the material time, General ABDULSALAMI Abubakar,
yes,
made a broadcast to the nation following the unfortunate death of Chief Abiola.
Yes, my
and
lord.
told Nigerians that Chief Abiola died of natural causes. Are you aware?
Yes, my lord.
Are you aware that on the 8th of July, the American president, then, Bill Clinton, sent a condolence message to Nigeria, where he also attributed the death of Abiola to natural causes?
Yes, my lord.
Yes. Now, the doctors that later came to conduct the autopsy also arrived at the same conclusion, natural causes. Are you aware?
Yes, my lord.
Yes. Now, the discussions between Chief Abiola and the American delegation,
yes, my lord,
centered on the June 12th mandate. Are you aware of this?
My lord, here they have not even started anything concerning discussion. They just introduced the issue. And the question people asking was, so, something like, what do you intend to do, or what do you intend to do with your life, or something like that, if you live here? That was the beginning. That was what they started. That was the only statement. And the chief avoided answering it once. Then the second time I wanted to answer, the coughing started. So he did not answer anything. They did not discuss. I don't know the discussion anything about June 12th or anything.
Yeah. So before the American delegation asked him, what role will you want to play in the politics of Nigeria after your release? That was what they asked him.
Well, maybe. I can't remember exactly.
No, but you were just telling us now. What can you remember?
My lord, it's a long time.
You are an intelligent officer.
I am. I am.
Ali. They did ask him, upon your release, because his release was imminent. Is that correct?
Yes, my lord.
They asked him, what role will you want to play in the politics of Nigeria? Can you remember that?
Probably. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. You can also not remember that before that question was asked, he was asked to forgo his mandate. Therefore, what role will you want to play?
I can't remember if he was asked that.
Okay. What can you remember precisely?
I don't think he has asked that.
But you don't think you heard that?
Yeah.
Was the politics of Nigeria discussed at all? Between them?
I told you they exchanged pleasantries.
Yes.
Which took most of the time.
Yes.
And immediately he just asking that particular question. Chief did not even start talking.
Okay.
Then when he talked, he coughed. He talked, he coughed.
Yeah.
Then the whole thing went haywire and the whole problem started.
Yeah. You did say that the service chiefs had visited Chief Abiola before the American delegation.
Some of them, yes, my lord.
Yes. When was this?
Within the month of June. I can't remember the dates.
Yes. That would be about the 2nd and the 3rd of July.
July?
Yes. 1998.
If you say so.
Yeah. Chief Emeka Onyaku visited him on the 5th of July. Are you aware of this?
I know Chief Emeka Onyaku visited him, but I can't remember the date.
The United Nations Secretary General, Kofi Annan, visited him on the 4th of July. Can you remember that?
Yes, I know he visited him. I can't remember the date.
The discussion between Chief Abiola and these powerful men at home and abroad centered on the June 12th mandate. Are you aware of this?
I'm not aware.
You are not aware?
Yes, my lord.
What did Chief Abiola discuss with the service chiefs, to your knowledge? I can't remember.
I can't remember. What
did he discuss with Kofi Annan, to your knowledge?
I'm not aware.
Emeka Onyaku, Major Ali.
Yes, my lord.
Are you aware Kofi Annan addressed a press conference in Abuja where he announced that Chief Abiola had given up his mandate. Are you aware of this? You're not aware?
Well, I knew he has given out a press statement,
Yes.
but I didn't know the details.
Yes. Are you aware that Chief Emeka Anyako also addressed a press conference in Lagos where he gave the impression that Chief Abiola had given up the June 12th mandate?
I know he came with people and they snap pictures, and I know he gave press conference.
I'll come to the photograph now. I'm asking what you can remember.
I don't know the details.
Good. Now, since you were in these meetings, did Chief Abiola, to your knowledge, give up his mandate, June 12th mandate, to your knowledge? Did he?
To my knowledge?
Yes.
I don't know.
You were in the meetings?
I don't know. I was sitting
I'm
outside.
saying to your knowledge.
Yeah, to my knowledge.
Did
What?
he give up the mandate?
To my knowledge, I don't know. Assistant, I don't know.
Okay. So you can't remember what Abiola discussed with any of those who visited him?
That's not my business.
Major
I
Aliyu?
can't remember.
Major Aliyu,
Yes,
you were
my
able
lord.
to remember in details all events that took place before those discussions and after.
Yes, my
But
lord.
those ones you can't remember. You
Yes,
don't want
my
to
lord.
remember.
I can't remember them.
Very good, Major. Now, you did say that you took part of the tea. Let him have a look at Exhibit 2. You took part of the tea that Abiola was served. Is that correct?
I took?
There, did you take?
No.
Very good. Now, you did not take part of the tea.
I did not.
Do you know who prepared the tea?
The stewards and cooks in Aguda House.
Yes, but the tea was served by a member of the American delegation, to your knowledge.
Yes, my lord, because the steward have already left before he requested.
Very good. In all your experience in the security department, can you remember any single incident where a foreigner gave food or tea or water to a detainee in Nigeria? Any incident?
My lord, the situation and the setting.
Can you remember one incident?
No, my lord.
No, my lord. Now, the delegation, the members of the international team of doctors, did they interview you?
They did not, my lord.
So, it is not correct, as they claim in their report, that they spoke to all those who were with Chief Abiola when he died. So it is not correct.
Well,
you've read it out.
Let me see the place. Where is it?
Yes. So they never spoke to you.
They did not speak to me.
So it is not correct that they spoke to everybody who was present. It is not correct.
Did they say it here?
Yes.
Can I see the place?
Yes. Have a look at Exhibit 2. Paragraph 2. In addition, can you read paragraph 2?
Which one is that? The report?
Page 2, Exhibit 2. You had read it
I read it,
beautifully.
yeah. Is it the opinion or the letter you are talking about?
Yes. The letter of August 2. Your lawyer directed your attention to it.
In reaching our conclusion,
Yes.
a number of sources of information were used. All available documented medical history of Chief Abiola was reviewed. In addition, witnesses who were present at the time of collapse
And
during the period of attempted resuscitation,
Yes.
as well as medical personnel who treated Chief Abiola and some family members were interviewed.
so that is not correct.
Why? They did not say all. They said some.
With not all available.
Yes, all available documents.
Just a minute. In addition, witnesses who were present at the time of collapse. Just a minute. Were you spoken to? They didn't speak to
I was
you.
not spoken to.
You were the main witness because you brought Abiola to them. You also led them to take Abiola to the hospital. So they never spoke to you. That is the point I'm making.
My lord, do you know there was a senior government official there?
I know,
Minister
but
of
did they
State
speak
Foreign
to you?
Affairs?
Did they speak to you?
They did not.
They did not. Thank you very much. Now, If you look at Exhibit 2, which you have read copiously from, it's not really, page 11, on gastrointestinal system of Abiola. Gastrointestinal system, page 11.
Yes, my lord.
Paragraph 2.
Yes, my lord.
Just listen. The stomach, small and large intestines are markedly distended with gas post-mortem.
My lord, excuse me. Where is the place?
Gastrointestinal system.
Okay, gastrointestinal system.
Can you see that?
Yes, my lord.
Can you read the first 3 lines, sentences?
The oral cavity is unremarkable with no evidence of trauma.
Yes.
The esophagus is unremarkable.
Yes.
The stomach, small and large intestine are markedly distended with gas.
Yes. But otherwise unremarkable.
But otherwise unremarkable.
Yes, next sentence. The stomach contains?
The stomach contains a small amount of yellowish mucous material, possible swallowed sputum.
Yes. Now, when last did when was he fed last? Before the 7th of July. Because there was no food in his intestine. According to the doctors, when last did you feed Chief Abiola? Before the 7th. You were in charge.
You see,
you were in charge. When last?
They brought him, they normally give him his food.
You were there?
I don't have to be there.
No, to your knowledge, when last was Chief Abiola fed? Because these doctors are saying we broke the intestine, only mucus.
I don't know when he was fed last.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know when he was fed last.
And he did not complain to me when we were in the vehicle that he has not eaten.
Do you know the doctors that recommended the drugs that were found in his possession? Do you know the doctors?
I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know that Dr. Yakasai, a gynecologist, do you know he was a gynecologist?
I know, my lord.
Do you know that he treated Chief Abiola before you took over his affairs? Was the one treating him? Do you know that?
I'm not aware of that, my lord.
Did he complain to you, Chief Abiola, that Yakasai was the one treating him?
No, my lord, he did not tell me.
Now, who took over his medical affairs then, for the 1 month you were in charge? Who was in charge? You don't know?
Nothing was handed over to me, and I don't know.
So no doctor treated Abiola for the 1 month, to your knowledge?
Witness,
Yes,
we listened to you in chief.
Yes,
You were fluent and forthcoming.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
cross-examination. Sometimes you were giggling. I don't know what was amusing you. And you don't remember. It's a litany of I don't know, I don't remember. Please help us.
Yes, my lord. My lord, you see, this role is not supposed to be for CSO. This late chief was supposed to be handled by the police and the
You're supposed
court.
to be chief intelligence officer.
Yes, my lord.
We've met somebody who was there before you.
Yes, my lord.
And we can assess him.
Yes, my lord.
Don't tell me that you are so daft. They shouldn't have put you there.
Major Aliyu,
Please help us.
please help Major Aliyu.
Yes, my lord.
Who was the doctor in charge of Chief Abiola between the 8th of June and the 7th of July, to your knowledge? Because on the 7th, you called Dr. Wali when there was an emergency.
Yes, my lord.
Who was the doctor treating him?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Now, you did say that, and this was on the 5th of July,
Yes, my lord.
that Chief Anyaku visited Chief Abiola in the company of the CGS then, Vice Admiral Ahigbe.
Yes, my lord.
They took photographs with him. Is that correct?
Yes, my lord.
Those photographs were printed in Abuja here at the insistence of the government. Is that to your knowledge?
I didn't know that, my lord.
They were published in the papers, those photographs.
I've seen them in the papers too, my lord.
So you don't know they were published in the papers?
I didn't know.
Do you know of any incident where a detainee in Nigeria was photographed, was asked to pose for a photograph while in detention? Do you know of any incident?
No, my lord.
No, man. Now, the CGS was appointed when, to your knowledge?
I can't remember the exact date.
The head of state, General Abubakar, was appointed as head of state when, to your knowledge?
9th June.
9th June.
Yes, my lord.
When was his deputy appointed?
I can't remember the exact date, but it's somewhere in June, sometimes in June.
It was, will I be correct in saying it was appointed on the 10th of June?
Sorry?
10th of June?
I can't remember the exact date.
Okay. Now, between the time he was appointed and the 7th of July. I put it to you that was a period of about 3 weeks. You can't remember?
My Lord, I can't remember.
Was he appointed on the 7th of July, to your knowledge? The day Abiola died? Was that the day he was appointed?
No, he was not appointed that day.
Where was he reporting before that date? Why did he ask for a key that day? Where was his office between the time of his appointment and the day of the incident?
My Lord, I don't know.
You don't know?
Yes, my Lord.
Thank you very much. So he was not reporting in the villa. To your knowledge, he was not reporting in the villa?
He was reporting. Sometimes I see him in the CNC's office.
Yes.
So I remember he traveled to go and hand over his office.
Very good.
And 1 or 2 couple of times with the CNC. Mostly.
Yes.
Hold it. What did you say? You remember? You remember something now?
Yes, my Lord.
No, let's hear what you remember.
That's what I remembered, sir. He was coming to the office. He was coming to the CNC. I used to see him in the CNC's office. Most times they are in the CNC's office and the conference room upstairs.
So he was running his office from the conference room or the CNC's office. Is that what you want this commission to believe? Is that correct? He didn't go to his own office?
Yes, my Lord.
He didn't go to his own office?
He has not taken over his office then.
Yes. You see, where I'm going is this. The withdrawal of SADC at the material time. You understand me? So that I can put your mind at rest.
Yes, my Lord.
I am not accusing you of having murdered Chief Abiola. What we are trying to find out is who did what at what time, in the interest of justice and the truth. Now, the Chief of General Staff telephoned you. Is that correct?
No,
on the
my
7th?
Lord. No, my Lord.
Who gave you the information on the 7th that the key to his office was needed? Who?
His own chief security officer. His own security officer.
Yes. What's his name?
Lieutenant Commander Matthew.
Yes.
Phoned
you.
He did not phone me.
What did he do?
They talked over the radio and called Zadok to come and open the office.
Yes. That was what happened that day.
Yes, my Lord.
Yes. Now, on that date that Zadok left, nobody tasted the tea before Chief Abiola took it. Nobody, to your knowledge.
Yes, my Lord.
Nobody. Now, are you aware that, from your experience, that food, water, and whatever that is meant for detainees is usually tasted? Even if the relations bring food or anything. That is the normal practice. Do you know that?
I don't know. I have not seen it in writing.
Now, Major Aliyu.
Yes, my Lord.
Major Aliyu.
Yes, my Lord.
The service chiefs at the material time were in different parts of the country.
Yes, my Lord.
By the virtue of their positions. Some were in Lagos, some in Kaduna, and others. Is that correct?
Some were in Lagos, some were in Abuja, not in Kaduna.
Yeah. On the day, on the 7th of July, all the service chiefs were in Abuja, to your knowledge. To your knowledge.
Yes, my Lord.
Because you said they met. I put it to you that they were waiting for the report of Abiola's death. That was why they were in Lagos, to your knowledge. I mean in Abuja.
No, they scheduled a state council meeting. They don't just schedule a meeting like that.
Are they members of the Council of State, to your knowledge? Service chiefs, to your knowledge?
They were?
They were?
Yes, my Lord.
Not governors, the CNC, are members of the Council of State under the military?
My Lord, if I will request that I should be confined to my role as
No,
CFO.
I'm going to confine you to what you know. Because you were the chief security officer to the head of state. If you don't know, simply say you don't know. Do you know that service chiefs were not members?
Hold it. What did he say? You should consult who?
He said he wants to be confined to what he knows.
Oh, what he knows?
Yes.
Not what I know, my Lord.
How much do you know? Nothing. All right, confine it to what he
Now, you do not know that service chiefs were not members of the Council of State. You do not know.
That's not my job, my Lord.
That is not your job. Good. Now, let's come to your job. You said that the Chief of General Staff, Vice Admiral IBB, came to the Asoro Clinic and was going to break down, but in order to avoid embarrassment before members of the American delegation, you persuaded him to leave. Is that correct?
I didn't know, my lord.
What happened?
I did not say he was going to break down.
What was he going to do?
But he was looking confused, and in that stage, I don't want us to portray a bad image of the nation.
Yes. Abiola had not died at that stage.
No, my lord.
Yes. Now, when you said that you did not trust Zadok,
Yes, my lord.
you left Abiola's life in the hands of Zadok.
With checks and balances, my lord.
Yes. But when it came to the question of money, the feeding allowance,
Yes,
you
my
took
lord.
that over. You didn't trust him in that respect.
Yes, my lord. On the other side, I will tell you, if I may digress here.
Yes.
He don't have the powers to pick chief out of that house
Yeah.
without the CO knowing, and the CO deploy guards physically on the ground who is in charge of the place. So
Yeah.
if that does go, they only know him and they will allow him and they will stand with him and he come out.
Yeah. Now, before Zadok was posted to manage Abiola for 2 years, between 1996 and 1998,
Yes, my lord.
he was already accused of involvement in arms dealing and illegal killing of citizens of this country, to your knowledge. Is that correct, according to you?
Yes, my lord.
So, you put Abiola in the hands of a killer. Is that correct?
My lord, I learned about this information after he left. The whole unit was posted away.
From
that was
who?
when normally information flows.
So you can't remember who gave you the information?
Well,
You can't.
sources must be protected.
Yeah. Now, do you know of any incident? Okay. Now let's just, you said the villa, nobody could arrest anybody in the villa.
Yes, my lord.
Do you want this honorable commission to believe that even those who were accused of murder of innocent citizens in town, once they were in Nassau, they were immune from arrest and prosecution? Is that correct?
Depending on the person in charge.
Yes. But when you were in charge, Zadok was protected.
I didn't know he was having that case, and the police did not ask me.
Yes.
But before I came, I learned that they even wrote letters requesting
Do you
for
know
him.
Rogers?
I know Rogers.
He was not with you?
He was.
Don't you know that he was also alleged to have killed certain people?
I didn't know.
He has confessed before this commission in Lagos
That was-
he killed Kudira and others.
I don't know. It was in his confession that I'll come to learn about it, or after we left office.
But during the reign of General Abacha, to your knowledge,
Yes, my lord.
there were reported cases in the papers
Sure.
that Major Mustafa al-Mustafa was in charge of a killing squad in Abuja. Didn't you read about that?
I read it, my lord.
But Zadok was in the BG, to your knowledge.
No, he was part of the police unit, my lord.
Yes, posted to handle that situation with the BG.
Yes, my lord.
So you knew that he was a killer.
I didn't know he was a killer.
Okay.
I knew him as a policeman.
After he had left Asorok, you then knew.
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Now, let's just get across to this one. The American delegation,
Yes, my lord.
Susan Rice, informed the family, according to you in your evidence in chief,
No.
after General Abubakar had,
She was together with the CNC when he broke the news to them.
yes, after the CEC had broken the news,
Yes, my lord.
Susan Rice then tried to convince the family that there was no foul play,
She
according to
condoled.
you in your evidence in chief.
My lord is asleep. She condoled the family and passed the normal pleasantries.
And did not say that there was no foul play. She didn't say that.
She did not say that it's asleep.
You are now withdrawing that?
I'm withdrawing it.
Okay. Now, you said the function of the CSO was to protect the head of state.
Yes, my lord.
How come you were collecting cars, giving them, some of them to the president, the vice president, and the rest of them? Was that part of your function?
My lord, the villa, they are all part of the villa.
So they are part of the functions of the CSO?
Yes, my lord. And I only give it to the president-elect then. He was a president-elect, and the president had to cater for him, which is the office of the president.
Now, to your knowledge, for the 1 month you were in charge of Abiola,
Yes, my lord.
nobody was in charge of his tasting his food or drink, to your knowledge? Nobody.
You see,
Nobody. Can you remember that one?
there was nobody.
Nobody. That's all for him.
Life on a so palava. I tire for this problem. I tire for life. Oh, Guinea. No work, no food, no house, no life. This small water then they bring na so dirty they pull am. This small money I they get na so transport they chop am. School low, na headache, hospital no work. I tire for life. Oh, my brother, wetin you dey think? Oh, my sister, help don't come. SDP, MKO, Kidibe, action. MKO, Kidibe, SDP, progress. Abiola na the hope, SDP na the party to solve our problem and better our life. Oh, MKO, 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 action. Abiola, 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 progress. Now him be the hope for better tomorrow. Now why for this life, oh, now so palava. I tire for this problem, I tire for life. Oh, Guinea, no work, no food, no house, no life.
Reacting live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Commerce Show. The Commerce Show. Wait, Comrade Lante Reacting live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the